What is up, Transformers family? Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformer fan, and today on George Reviews, we'll be taking a look for a much anticipated, probably the most anticipated figure from this trilogy, besides Unicron, is Galvatron. And this is Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy Leader Class Galvatron. We finally get a cartoon accurate, a true official cartoon accurate Galvatron, or at least that's what it appears to be, and we'll check that out as this review goes along. Here is the packaging, standard packaging from this trilogy and from Kingdom with the Kingdom deco. We have Galvatron in the window. We can see his waist up of the figure. We see him in cannon mode right there with the matrix dangling around his cannon. We see him on the side of the box right here. We get a little bit of light off of that. We see the arc on top of a volcano. Galvatron running up, blasting somebody. He had a very brief appearance in Earthrise. It was a little bit lackluster if you ask me, but he was still there. It says leader class right there. Back of the box shows you the contents of the packaging and a render product shot. This is not the actual toy within the package. This thing actually looks amazing. That gun on his arm looks amazing. That matrix looks a lot better than it's going to look when we get it out of the pack. Side of the box, same thing. Let's get Galvatron open and let's get started. As a kid, growing up in the 80s and getting the vintage Galvatron figure, it was a little disappointing. If it wasn't for the electronics, I would not have liked that figure as a kid. And because it just didn't look like the movie. It's like, how could you make a movie toy for the movie, specifically for the movie, and not look like the movie? But anyway, let's get this thing out. Packaging, very excited. Looks a lot bigger before you get to the inside of the box. He's standing on this little platform like Studio Series figures. And there we go. Got to get his cannon out of here. I am so happy that they didn't make the cannon one solid color. They kept it like translucent for the most part, like the vintage cannon. Get some of the stuff out of the way. And here is the collector's card. It is the Arc flying through space. And it's not quite lenticular picture. And the sticker folds away to reveal. It actually reveals the actual Arc. I think it's the first time I ever got this card. When we'll be getting this soon. The transforming Arc from the trilogy. I wonder if he will transform in Transformers Kingdom series. Anyway, on to Galvatron. All right, now that I got him out of the packaging, before I take a look at the whole Galvatron thing, because as a G1 collector, I'm in it for finally getting a 1986 accurate Galvatron. So before I go all in on me, I want to do a complete review. So I want to talk about these two guns that we got that look to be designed after the ship that Unicron gave Galvatron, Cyclonus, and the Sweeps in the 1986 animated movie. And they look like a pretty darn good replica of that ship. My only thing is, why not make them purple? I guess they want to break up some of all of this, but maybe one of them we could have got was purple. And I can see that they combine their opposite peg holes on each one. So let's take a look at that. I don't know if this is for his cannon mode or what, but you can get these two things to combine and maybe he can wield them. And I'll get a little bit more into that as I go through the review. But I did want to take a look at these just because I know they really don't interest me and I didn't want to leave them out. Here is the Matrix of Leadership, and goodness sake, it looks nothing like the back of the box. They didn't add like a paint app, give it the little sheen. It's dull and flat. The matrix is humdrum at best. I believe it's the same matrix that came with Optimus Prime a couple times or whatever. We've seen it before. This time it looks like it's permanently attached to the chain, which kind of sucks. Wish you could take it off. And clearly there are no hand slots where he can actually hold it in his hand anyway, you know, like Unicron, see this. So can't get that, but I wanted to jump in that real quick. So let's take a look at Galvatron. And the first thing I noticed, and I want to point out, because I've seen some early reviews, I just got this figure like a week ago, like June 25th in Las Vegas. I picked this figure up while I was vacationing in Las Vegas, and Thank goodness I didn't get the first run, because the first run of the figures, the arms are misassembled. The shoulders are on backwards, and you get the peg hole. You come around here, and because these are things like peg into the actual peg hole, and you can see the rivet in there. And a lot of these people who bought up all the first runs and ran and got them first got the reverse shoulder. So apparently they have corrected that. Not apparently, they have corrected that. At least on mine. So he's mostly purple and gray plastic from head to toe, and with some black paint. For example, the feet are painted black. This part's painted. The red's paint. This piece of purple right here is painted. It is not purple plastic. Maybe black plastic, because I don't see why they would add a paint app in there. Maybe this whole piece is black plastic. Maybe I got that wrong. No, I can see the bleed. This is paint. I guess they just painted the inside black. The crotch piece is a purple plastic. This right here is black plastic. And I bring that up because I prefer plastic over paint, because I don't like my paint scraping off on different parts. I love it when they use different plastics. I believe this shoulder piece is black plastic with some silver spray paint. And then we got the wear and tear, the scuffing and scarring, which I'm not a big fan of, but again, they might have tried to break it up a little bit. And the Decepticon logo is done in like a pink to make it stand out from the purple. He has some scarring on his forearms, on both forearms. The patterns are different. And he has a little dry brushing, like smudging on his legs. And I've never been a fan of that, but it's not overdone like a lot of the Siege figures, so I can live with that. So let's take a look at Galvatron's mug right there. I would have liked the lines in his face a little bit more defined, but that's good enough. And I would have liked a little bit of paint on the chin, but I guess I could do that myself to define his chin. His eyes are at the very top of the helmet. They're painted red. Not a lot of molded in detail on the helmet itself. And while I'm doing it, the head 360s, you see a screw back there. And he has a couple little vents right here on the side of his helmet. He has the standard 4-pack done in red. That's painted in there with some painted over silver. They didn't continue paint apps to right here in his waist. I believe that's supposed to be like a red dot too. So while he does have a lot of paint apps, there's some paint apps that he doesn't have. There's some paint on these little skirt pieces right here. So let me just stop and just go into articulation, and then we'll keep going forward as I notice things. His head 360s. No, I'm not sure if that's a ball joint in there. Really can't see it, but as far as up, he can look up this far, not much. Look down that far, not much at all. Coming to his shoulder 360s on this little odd joint right here, and the little hinge right here allows it to come out this far. And again, you get that 360 out of that. He has a bicep swivel right here, and if this piece doesn't hit, it will do a full 360. He gets a lot of his arm bend. I'm sure this transformation, because here is the peg hole right here. It goes in right there. And coming down to his wrist will 360 right here. And I believe it folds up for transformation, because I see a little gap. Yep, folds up for transformation. But so technically this is a little bit of wrist hinge articulation, so I want to add that. His waist would 360, but this little backpack thing is hitting right here on the skirt pieces. Right there. There is no ab crunch. I don't know why I thought it would be. I thought it would be an ab crunch for whatever reason. All right, his legs can split this far to the sides, this far, which is really good and pretty much typical of these figures. Front to back, you can get this much out of it. And whatever little hinge this is, it's like an odd little hinge in there. It does all that for us. And he has an upper thigh swivel, full 360 out of that. Has a knee bend. We can get this much out of the knee bend. And coming down to his foot, it does not go front to back, because you can see the transformation pieces are clogging all of that up. But I believe it hinges out for a wide stance. So we can get Galvatron down flat-footed with his feet still on the ground, his legs spread apart for dynamic poses. So let's get the fusion cannon out here. It looks to be a two-piece. And it is a two-piece with a little bit of molded in detail right there where you take the cannon out. And a little bit of molded in detail right here where the cannon comes out. I'm not quite sure. I think all this is an overspray. It might be black plastic with silver all over it. Obviously, it's black and silver. Let's get this back in here. This is how it was. Then there are 2 spots to put it on his arm, so I guess you choose where to put it. Further down, like this. See how it looks? And just a little bit further up, right here. And this hole feels a little bit more loose than the first one. I guess it might be better. Oh, no, because you can't. No, I don't know. I think it's supposed to go right here, animation wise, so he can gesture and do different things while the cannon's still there. But as you can see, it's a little bit more loose in that hole for whatever reason, sliding down. But you can do that, and I think it looks fantastic. I love that they kept the translucent barrel, because I always thought it was some type of crystal chamber where the reaction would go off before it would blast, and I always imagined that. And I thought it was just so cool that, you know, it would light up first and then you get the discharge. So yeah, I think that is awesome. So now that we've got the barrel on Megatron, let's get this guy in a few poses. I know a lot of people don't like my posing montages, but I think this guy deserves a montage. So here we go. Galvatron, he posed pretty well in those montages. I really like what they did with this figure as a robot so far. And as long as the cannon mode don't let me down, this thing is looking to be like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 so far. The only letdown I'm thinking is coming in with the accessories. And let's roll back into those. Here is the Matrix. And we took a look at that. We want to get it on Galvatron to see how it hangs. And there it is, Galvatron sporting the Matrix. And again, it's sad that we can't like get his hands on there. I guess we can kind of pretend like they're on there. So yeah, I guess if you get the hands just right, you can pretend like that's going on. And speaking of getting the hands just right, let's check out the hands and see how he holds these guns. Here are the ship guns. He has 2 of them. I saw the box. They fit onto the figure in cannon mode. Have a left and a right hand, I don't know. Okay, it fits in that hand a little bit better, and let's check this one out. And okay, that hand is just tight. Did you hear it snap in there? And I kind of lost this panel. When I was posing him down, this panel kept coming out on me. And so he has these 2 twin guns. If he didn't have enough firepower already, Galvatron is blasting the hell out of everything. Die, Autobot. So that is it for the accessory portion. I'm pretty sure, like these things, well, you know what? I was going to say they probably peg in everywhere, but because of this little hump right here, I doubt it. Yeah, it won't let the peg reach, but it should fit these holes. Well, it depends on where you want to put it. But I think they're most likely for cannon mode to store and not in robot mode. And speaking of which, let's see if we can store this. All right, we know it goes there. And let's see if we can hold it as a gun. I mean, one episode he had like a trigger underneath the barrel part. And I think he was going to shoot Optimus Prime, and Skylink slapped the gun out of his hand. So let's get Galvatron transformed, shall we? Let's see what I can do without an instruction sheet. Hold on, let me get the camera so I can get all this in. Alright, so I know the hands fold up. We're going to fold up the hands. Come on, hands fold up. Okay, this one is like, something's off. So I got to rotate it. Okay, my bad. Rotate the hands, fold it up, and there's a port right here and a tab right here. I'm going to get those 2 in because that is so obvious. It's already obvious. And then the treads somehow come down here. And I may be jumping the gun, but let's get the treads down here to this part. And I think we got that. We got to get rid of the head. And this somehow is the front of the Canon. This double hinge is down right here. Let's get that down. See if the chest comes loose at all. Okay, we got that. Open up the back right there. There's a double hinge here. Nope. And we got to tuck this head away. Oh, with the arms down, that might help. I believe this chest comes loose. Yeah, oh, I'm trying to pull it down from the top, but it releases from the bottom. Yeah, I would have been all day with that. So, got that like this. And bring this part down to cover up his face. And this will be the front of the Canon. Snap that in. Does it double hinge up? I don't know at this point. Okay, let's work on the legs. I'm gonna tab these down right here. Open this up right here. Do these swivel out? Oh, the leg opens up. Okay. Open up and does this, and repeat the beat on this side. Open this up. I'm assuming they connect. Yeah, there is a tab right here, a port right here. See if we can get that done. If I'm correct at this stage in the transformation. Oops. Banging the camera. All right, there's another tab, another port right here. These go together. Does it rotate? Nope. Hold on, stay the course. Flip these out. Let's see if I can bring this down. Wait, I'm gonna rotate the waist. I think this is what needs to happen. Bring the waist up, or the legs back, sort of like Optimus Prime truck mode. I know I'm making a glorious mess out of this, but we will get there. I lost the crotch piece. Anyway, let's continue with this. Bring this down. Okay, we're getting there now. We can see it starting to form. And let me see if I get this crotch piece back on. All right, goes up in here like that. My bad. Bring this down. We're starting to get canonage out of this thing. Canonage. Okay, this comes down and this comes down like that. All right, there's a tab on this thing and a port right here, and we're gonna lock these in. Again, this isn't official transformation. This is just what I'm seeing. Oh, I did that one by accident. Bring these treads around. Okay, there is a port right here and a tab right here. So let's see if I can get that tab. Maybe not. If I can tab that in there. Okay, I got that in there. Let's see if I, feels like a really tight, funny fit. It might not be a port. Let me check this side. Yep, sure enough, it is a port. Maybe I jumped the gun. Jumped the Canon. All right, let's see if I can port this side in. It's a slot. Like it wants the slot pop right back out. Maybe my transformation isn't so good. Let's go with this side. Yeah, did it come out over here? Yep, came out over here. Great. All right, I think that's got it. Bring these two pieces back down. Did I even get that on camera? I'm so busy looking at the toy. Pop back out. All right, I'm gonna just finish off what I can see and then tab everything in later, and you know how I do it. All right, so These two pieces go underneath here. Try to keep this tabbed in. This is a lot of the cannon. This thing snaps in right here on top. And we separate this. This goes back here. Yeah, I really got to lock that front end. I don't know if these come up or go down, or I think that's that. And we take this piece and we add it to the front. And here is the transformed Galvatron. I just need to tab it all in. Yeah, I think this is it. So I'm going to pause the video just to get it all tabbed in. I believe the only thing I'm missing is like getting these panels locked in to the side piece right there. I was trying to figure out if these look better up or down, but there is actually a tab like right here, and it fits right in there. Alright, I got Galvatron transformed to the best of my ability. I had trouble tabbing this little chest piece in, but I got it for right now. It was a pain. Discovered a few tabs while I was going back over trying to get it as perfect as I can, as best as I can for the video. It looks pretty good. There's some broken up panels, but there was a lot of transformation going on. From the side, he's not that great, but it still looks good. If you turn it around right here, you can see a little bit of a hollowing, but that's where the legs actually came out of, so I can't even fault it from that. Here are the stabilizers that we actually saw in the cartoon and sort of kind of got in the Generation 1 toy. He looks pretty darn good. So far, I give this thing like an 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10. And he has some new decoration that I've never seen before right here. These 6 little things, 3 on each side. I don't know exactly what they are, but they are there now. So that's kind of cool when you turn them over. Looks pretty decent underneath as well. He looks pretty good. Looks like the cartoon. I like the purple that they used. On the vintage cartoon, he was always changing colors. He went from a light blue to like a darker blue to a purple to a lighter purple for whatever reason. They never figured out what color they wanted Galvatron to be. But I love the cannon. I love this little reactor type like part right here. Like an old school generator or something about to make the blast come out. I really like it. It really captures Generation 1. And in the cartoon, the 1986 animated movie I'm speaking of, not the Earthrise that he appeared in, he could angle up and blast Starscream. And they actually have it where you can like rotate this back, move the stabilizers back, and he will get a up angle for firing up at Starscream, which is very cool. And you can move it a lot, and then you can reposition the treads if you wanted to, and keep them on the ground or whatever. But that's enough for me. That is pretty awesome. That the G1 toy did not do that, even though it had like a little angle piece. And speaking of G1 toy, behold, vintage Galvatron. Here he is side by side. Actually, this is the animated reissue from like I think 2006. Maybe don't quote me on that, but Takara exclusive of the vintage Generation 1 Galvatron. Same toy, just different color. And this figure could not, he can tilt down for whatever reason they did that, but he could not tilt up. So it is very cool to see that this figure can tilt up and blast Starscream. Alright, now I'm going to move on to the size up and rundown and start it off where I left off with Generation 1 Galvatron, Studio Series Hot Rod, Transformers Earthrise Megatron Beast Mode. Alright, before I get Galvatron back into his robot mode, we got to finish him up with his other accessories that I really don't care about. You could tab these two guns onto the cannon mode. So you can add these to give them even more fire intensity or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they help generate more power or something like that. But I'm pretty sure we will not see these in the animation at all, if Galvatron even makes a return in Transformers Kingdom. And the one accessory that I do want to check out in this mode is the matrix chain. You just slide it on over the barrel and let it hang right here. And one thing that's like kind of crap, I mean, it really doesn't hang that great right here. But what's kind of crap is like on the chain, it's facing down. You can't get it to hang forward because it's stuck in this position like this. So you, at least I ain't figured it out, you know. Yeah, and it's such a hard plastic. It's not pliable at all. It just hangs down like that. I mean, you can do it and you know what it is, you recognize it, but it's like facing the ground table or whatever. So that kind of sucks just a little bit. So I got Galvatron back into his robot mode, and I gotta tell you, I'm very, very impressed by this figure so far. Kind of spoiling the end, but hell, you already know it. You're watching the video. So I'm going to continue to size up and run down, and again, I'm going to bring out the Generation 1 anime accurate version. See how these guys scale. Here's Earthrise Starscream, Studio / Earthrise Cyclonus and Scourge, Netflix redeco of Siege Megatron, Generation 1 Optimus Prime. Size up, run down. All right, let's wrap it up, everybody. When I first got it out of the box, I thought I wasn't going to like it as much as I do. I actually love it. I think this thing is like a 9 out of 10. Like, he had a couple loose panels, a couple panels pop loose, but it happens even on Masterpiece figures. But the look of this thing, the way it cleans up in robot mode, looks great from all sides. The cannon mode was nice, the best official cannon mode of any Galvatron figure. And again, I didn't open my Titans Return one, but I can safely say this is the best official Galvatron out there. And I do not count the third parties because they are all knockoffs. Yeah, I said it again. But love this figure. When you see it and you're collecting this line, pick it up. I think it was $49.99 for this guy. I paid for it in Vegas or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's the same price everywhere. Well, no, I want to say I'm pretty sure. I think it's the same price everywhere. His greatest accessory is the fusion cannon, followed by the matrix, and just hum with these things. I'm going to actually try to dye mine purple to recreate that little ship and maybe see if I can get it on a Unicron stand. Speaking of which, it's in arm's reach, actually. Let's see if we can get this thing pegged in on the Unicron stand. And no, it's like just a slight miss. It almost would want to go in on the Unicron accessory stand. Oh, that would have been so cool if it did. But I still think they're going to give us a ship like this to go on here eventually with some figure. But anyway. So that is going to do it for this episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story. Hope you enjoyed this one.
Attempt to fill his shoes.
What did he say his name was?
Galvatron.